Galaxies burned behind them, but one human cruiser refused to fall. Epic HFY tale. The stars didn't blink. But the crew felt something change. Far beyond the edge of charted space, orbital station Helios floated quietly above a dying planet. Its metal arms stretched out like a spider's web, once built to listen for deep space trade routes, now forgotten by most. Only a skeleton crew remained, keeping systems alive and collecting stray signals. For Commander Raya Cole, this place had become routine. She drank lukewarm coffee, studied sensor reports, and dreamed of a transfer closer to Earth. But tonight, something broke the silence. "Ma'am," said Ensign Len, eyes wide at his console. "We're picking up a signal. Faint, but it's not ours." Raya stood and crossed the small control deck in 2 steps. "Tyrants." Len shook his head. "No, it's repeating. And it's broken, like it's trying to say something but keeps restarting." Raya leaned over and listened. Static hissed. Then a whisper of alien speech, distorted, panicked, desperate. Then the words turned clear. "Colony destroyed. Repeat. Warning." They came through light. "Do not answer back. Do not respond." Then silence. The bridge fell quiet. Could hear the hum of the life support fans. Raya looked at her second officer, quiet engineer named Malik. His hands rested on the edge of the console, gripping tighter than he knew. "Run it again," Raya said softly. The message played back. It was clearer now, as if something in the signal wanted to be understood. "Do not respond. They follow light." That was all. "What do you think?" Malik asked. Raya straightened. "I think someone's dying, and they wanted us to know why." Before anyone could speak, the whole station shook. Not an explosion, not impact, but something. A deep vibration, as if space itself was grinding outside. Len shouted, "External sensors show a heat bloom. Something just came out of warp right on top of us." Everyone turned to the main screen. At first it looked like a star had appeared. Just outside the station, a glowing object, shifting and shining like a crystal. But it wasn't natural. It was moving. Then it disappeared. It's not jumped or fled. It simply stopped existing on their sensors. "Where is it?" Raya demanded. Len blinked rapidly. It's gone. I mean, visually it's still there, but our systems can't see it. Not radar, not thermals, not even mass scans. "We're blind to it," Malik whispered. Raya's voice turned sharp. "Seal all airlocks, go manual. Disable external comms. Lock every digital system that can send signals." Len hesitated. "Commander, if they follow light, then we go dark." In seconds, the bridge dimmed. Screens switched to low power. Backups kicked in with basic readouts: no color, no glow. The station turned into a shadow in space. But the thing outside didn't move. It floated, humming like a tuning fork against the stars. Raya's heart pounded. She felt it in her chest, heavy like gravity. "Why isn't it attacking?" She muttered. "Maybe it doesn't know we're alive yet," Malik said. Then came a noise from deep within the station. It wasn't loud, just a small, sharp click like a metal door, unlatching far down the hallway. The crew looked at one another. "Security cam feed is dead," Len said. Raya grabbed a flashlight and a sidearm. "Malik, with me, Len. Keep us dark. If anything changes, do not light this place up again." They moved through the corridor. With slow steps, the station creaked around them. In the silence, every footstep echoed like a shout. They reached maintenance shaft 12. The hatch was open. Inside was darkness and something else. Tiny specks floated in the air like glitter caught in a breeze. They sparkled slightly, shifting colors. "Nanotech," Lit guessed, stepping. "Back, maybe," Raya replied. Then one of the flecks drifted close to her flashlight. It pulsed. The beam of light bent around it, shimmered and vanished. Raya blinked. The flashlight was still on, but now the light stopped just a few inches from the bulb. Like the darkness had eaten it. The speck floated closer. "Back away," she whispered, but it was too late. From the dark shaft, more flecks poured out, thousands, silent, glowing faintly, all drifting like they had purpose. Raya slammed. The emergency door, sealing the shaft. She looked through the small window. The specks were already coating the glass. "We have to warn the crew," Malik said. "They're not outside anymore," Raya said slowly. "They're already here." They returned to the bridge where Len met them with a pale face. "Commander, you need to see this." He pointed to the external cameras. The alien ship, the one that vanished from sensors, was still there, but now it was glowing brighter. Patterns ran across its hull like veins of liquid light, and floating behind it were more 5, 10, 20 reinforcements, Malik said grimly. Raya stared out the window. "I think we just lit the match." And all across the dark void, the stars no longer looked safe. The second ship appeared without warning, just like the first. No light flash, no warp tunnel, no engine. Trail, it was simply there, and then another, then another. Soon, 20 alien vessels surrounded Station Helios, drifting like silent hunters around a wounded animal. Raya stood at the main window of the bridge, her jaw tight. The alien ships weren't metal. They looked like sculptures of glowing crystal and bone, with pieces that moved slowly over their surface like sliding armor plates. No windows, no engines, no signs of life. Just humming energy, soft and steady, like they were waiting. "Do we have any comes open?" she asked, voice low. "No, Commander," Len said, his hands trembling slightly. "No beacons, nothing outgoing." "They're still here," Malik added. "So they don't need light to find us anymore." Raya turned from the window. "They already marked us. We're a target now, no matter how dark we go." Suddenly, the entire station shook again, this time harder. Not a blast, not an impact. Something had latched on. "Internal sensors," Raya ordered. Len stared at the flickering display. "Something just made contact on Ring B. Section 9. "That's our storage bay," Malik said. "Seal it," Raya snapped. "Can't," Len said. "Doors won't respond." Raya grabbed the emergency come. "All crew, prepare for breach protocol. Manual lockdowns only. If you see anything moving that isn't human, don't wait. Run." The red lights above the doors turned on. Warning klaxons screamed. Helios was no longer just a listening station. It was a battleground. Raya and Malik rushed down the side corridor with a team of security officers. They carried old rifles, not energy weapons. Power meant no noise. The rifles were heavy and loud, but they worked. As they reached the edge of Ring B, they stopped. The corridor ahead was full of floating particles, again glowing silver and slow. One of the guards raised his rifle, but Raya stopped him. "Wait." At the far end of the corridor, something moved. Not fast, not loud. It glided tall and thin, with arms too long and legs that bent wrong. Its body was wrapped in shifting plates, like it was made from living crystal. Then it stopped. Its head, or what looked like one, tilted slightly, as if listening. Raya didn't breathe. The alien took another step forward. Its foot didn't make a sound. It didn't seem to touch the ground. The particles around it followed like a cloud. One of the security officers panicked. He fired. The sound cracked through the station. The bullet struck the alien and passed straight through it. No blood, no spark. But the alien stopped moving. Then the entire corridor changed. The lights flickered. The air grew thick and heavy. A low hum filled every wall, every pipe, every bolt, and the alien began to glow. Not white or blue, but red. Bright, angry red. "Fall back!" Raya shouted. They turned and ran. The alien didn't chase, but now alarms rang from every deck. "Commander." Len's voice crackled through the handheld radio. "They're cutting into the hull. They're using something sharp. We can't see what, but the metal's splitting on its own." "How many entry points?" Raya asked. 5? Maybe more?" They were surrounded. Malik caught up beside her, breath ragged. "They're not boarding us to talk." "No," Raya said. "They're here to take the station. Or take us. Then we can't give them the whole thing." She stopped in the hallway. "Helios has sectioned power nodes. We can collapse the outer rings, seal them off, force the fight to one area." Malik frowned. That would leave the rest of the crew cut off. It'll also keep most of them alive. If we let them spread, they'll sweep the whole station and ours. Malik nodded slowly. All right. We go full lockdown. Save the core. They returned to the bridge. Rhea issued the order. Seal the outer rings. Blow the charges. If you have to, we hold them in Ring B. Doors slammed shut across the station. Fire doors? Bulkheads? Steel barriers thicker than tank armor?
Ow.
The aliens pushed forward anyway. One was caught between closing doors. Its body snapped in two, but it didn't die. The top half crawled forward on its arms, leaving a trail of glowing dust. Rhea watched through the camera feed. They don't stop. She turned to Malik. Build me something that does. He stared. What do you mean? Something they can't predict. Something they've never seen. Malik's mind started working fast, and just then, every screen on the bridge went black. Then one by one they turned back on, not with the usual interface, but with faces. The crew stared at the screens, each now showing a reflection of themselves, but not exact. The faces twisted, shifted. A version of them, watching, and from every speaker. A voice whispered, "You are not ready. You are not one." The screens blinked off. Malik looked at Rhea. I think they're trying to understand us. Rhea shook her head. No, they're trying to break us. And far above, outside the station, more ships shimmered into view. The true invasion was just beginning. Asterisk, the station groaned again. Not from damage, but from something else. Pressure. Presence. Commander Rhea Cole stood on the dim bridge of Station Helios, watching the main screen flicker with static. The alien ships outside were multiplying. 20 had become 30, then 50. They made no sound. They fired no weapons. But everyone on board could feel them like a silent heartbeat pressing against their bones. Power grid stable, Malik reported, his voice quiet. But the lights in Ring B are gone. Burned out or cut. Security cams still down? Rhea asked. Len nodded, still blind. It's like the system doesn't even recognize the cameras exist. Rhea looked around at her crew. Tired, pale, some shaking. Most hadn't slept since the first signal. They're not just attacking us, she said. They're watching, studying, trying to see how we break. The whispering screens were still in everyone's minds, their own faces looking back at them, twisted, broken. The message was burned into their thoughts. You are not ready. You are not one. Rhea turned to Dr. May, the station's science officer, who had been studying the captured nanites. Any progress? May rubbed her eyes. They talk in light. The ships, the particles, even the ones inside the station. I think they see the entire world in pulses and beams, like flashes of thought. And the crystals? Rhea asked. They're alive, May said. Not like us, more like nerve cells. Each one is a thought, memory. Together, they become something bigger. Malik leaned forward. A mind May nodded. Yes, a shared mind, a collective. And they're growing stronger the longer. They're near us. So how do we hurt a mind like that? Rhea asked. May hesitated. We don't. Not by hitting it. Confuse it. Break the pattern. Malik's eyes lit up. We send it something it doesn't understand. Something. Random, Rhea added. Yes, Malik said. We overwhelm them with chaos. Human chaos. Len looked up from his console. What does that mean? Rhea stepped to the center of the bridge. It means we stop trying to be smart. We stop being predictable. Adapt fast because they think we'll always follow patterns. 8. Not, she pointed at the wall display. We build a pulse, signal. Not just noise, but something wrong, something messy, something illogical. May smiled faintly. Human thoughts. Exactly, Rhea said. Fear, love, rage, doubt. Things that don't fit into patterns. Emotions. Len blinked. You want to broadcast our feelings? It's better than broadcasting nothing, Rhea said. The crew got to work. May and Malik repurposed a sensor relay tower as a transmitter. They loaded it with old messages, audio logs, video clips, bits of raw thought from journals and crew memos. A collection of human mess, all unfiltered, all honest. Meanwhile, Ring B kept falling. The alien presence had taken over every open corridor. The cameras showed only darkness, then flickers of light when a crystal limb passed by. The shapes didn't walk. They floated, crawled, slid. Then one made it through. A single shard creature got into Ring A. It burst through a sealed maintenance door, its arms slicing steel like paper. It stood in the hallway, tall, too thin and shining. With white energy, the hallway patrol saw it. They fired. Bullets passed through it. Plasma rounds burned its edge, but it kept moving. Then it spoke. Not with words, with light. The hallway lights flashed in a perfect pattern, pulses and gaps. Morse code? Elen tried to record it. Before anyone could respond, the creature split. In half, it didn't die. It became two. Rhea heard the report. "They're not one mind anymore," she said quietly. "They're splitting. They're testing how far they can divide." Back on the bridge, May uploaded the last files into the transmitter. "All set," she said. "We'll beam it straight into the shard clusters outside." "Do it," Rhea ordered. The transmitter fired. The signal raced out, packed with emotion. Noise, laughter, screams, rage, poetry, tears, fear. It was a burst of pure, chaotic humanity. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the closest alien ship changed color, from white to yellow. Then to red. Then it shattered. No explosion, no sound. It just collapsed into light, like it had forgotten how to stay whole. The bridge crew gasped. Then another ship flickered. Another. Not all were breaking. Some steadied themselves. But now some were reacting. Rhea leaned forward. "They can feel it." May stared in awe. "We're reaching them." The main power grid shut off. Every console went dark. Lights gone. Emergency systems failed. Total blackout. From the hallway came a new sound: footsteps. But not human ones. Soft, slow, scraping the metal floor. Getting closer. Rhea reached for her weapon, heart pounding. "Brace yourselves," she whispered. They weren't alone anymore. The sound of footsteps on metal echoed through the silent hall like drops of water in a cave. Commander Rhea held her breath. The emergency lights were dead. Her hand clutched her sidearm, finger ready. The rest of the bridge crew was frozen, listening. Every breath felt loud, every heartbeat louder. Then came another noise, closer this time. Low hum, almost like a voice humming a song, but not any human melody. It vibrated through the walls. It wasn't just heard, it was felt. "Do we have any power at all?" Rhea whispered. Malik shook his head. "Everything's fried." Not just shut off. It's like something reached in and crushed the wires. Rhea turned to Len. "Flashlights dead," he said. "Batteries drained like they were eaten." Humming grew louder. Something was walking toward them through the dark hallway just outside the bridge. They could feel it coming. Suddenly a spark lit the floor. A red glow. Then another. Then more. Each footstep left behind a red footprint that pulsed like a heartbeat. Slow, steady, coming closer. Malik grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall. It was heavy and cold. Not a great weapon, but it was something. Rhea raised her sidearm. The air shifted. Then the door opened just a little. Nothing came through at first. Just silence. Then fingers appeared, long, thin, sharp like glass blades. They gripped the edge of the door, and slowly a figure leaned in. It was taller than any human. Its body shimmered like liquid metal and crystal, constantly changing shape. Where eyes should have been, there were spinning lights. It didn't attack. It looked around the bridge slowly, taking in everything. Its head tilted sideways, as if studying. Then it raised one hand. From its palm, a light flickered to life. Not white, but blue. Soft, pulsing blue. It filled the room with a strange feeling. Not fear, but sadness. It was like the creature was feeling something. Then it spoke. Not in sound, but with images. Everyone on the bridge saw the same thing in their mind. A planet. lush and green, then burning. A race of beings made of light and crystal, running, hiding, splitting apart to escape. Destruction, become in a swarm to survive. They weren't born as a hive. They became one out of fear. The vision faded. The creature stepped forward. Raya didn't shoot. No one moved. It slowly walked to the central console. Even though the power was off, the console lit up under its hand. Letters appeared on the screen. We are breaking. Some want silence. Some want to speak. Raya stepped closer. Are you one of the ones who wants to speak? The alien turned its head. The lights in its face spun faster. It touched the screen again. I am becoming. Not all will allow it. Just then, a loud boom shook the bridge. The alien froze. Len rushed to the backup console. Something just breached the outer hull ring. See? Another group of them. Raya turned to the alien. Can you stop them? It stood still. I am not whole. I can't command them. But I can show you what they do not see. The lights on the walls flickered on, not station lights. Alien lights. They lit up a hidden path in blue routes through the ship that avoided the incoming creatures. Raya stared. You're showing us a safe way out? The alien nodded once. Why? Malik asked. Why help us now? More words appeared. Because you reached me. You made me remember. You made me feel. Raya's voice was soft. And the others, they fear the feeling. They will silence me. They are coming. The bridge crew stared at the message. We can't stay here, Raya said. They'll overrun the bridge. She looked at the alien. Will you come with us? It hesitated, then nodded. The crew grabbed what they could. Tools, medkits, personal weapons. No power, no shields. Just trust and hope. With the alien leading the way, they slipped into the dark tunnels, following the blue lights only they could see behind them. The floor trembled. Heavy thuds echoed down the corridors. The rest of the shard were coming. And this time they weren't curious. They were angry. The hallways of Station Helios were silent, cold, out, and full of shadows. Commander Raya moved quickly, flashlight off, following the soft blue glow that danced along the walls and floor. The strange alien half-light, half-crystal led them forward. It never looked back. Its limbs flowed like liquid glass, and its presence gave off a strange calm, like standing in the eye of a storm. Behind them, the station shook again. Another part of the hull had been breached. The rest of the shard were pouring in stronger, faster and angry. Raya's small group stayed close together. Malik carried a heavy toolkit on his back. Dr. May clutched a small case full of the pulse data. Len, pale and breathing hard, held a basic rifle, finger tight on the trigger. They passed through narrow maintenance shafts and empty supply rooms. The alien kept guiding them with soft pulses of blue light that rippled over doors and bulkheads. When they came to a sealed hatch, it simply touched the wall, and the metal opened with a soft hiss. It was like the station itself was listening to it. How far to engineering? Raya whispered. 2 more levels down, Malik said. Can reach the core there. If we're lucky, some of the systems might still work. They reached a vertical shaft. The ladder was long and slick. No elevator. Power was still dead. I'll go first, Raya said. She slung her sidearm and started climbing down. The others followed, one by one, carefully. The alien floated instead, drifting through the shaft like it weighed nothing. As they reached the bottom, lights changed. The walls flickered red, then stopped. No sound, but Raya felt it. Something was here. The alien stopped moving, its head tilted. The blue light around it dimmed. It knows, May whispered. A shape appeared at the end of the hallway. No footsteps, just presence, a shadow, sharp and wide. It crawled out of the darkness like a giant spider with too many legs and no face. Its body pulsed with red and black. Not alive, not machine. One of the shard leaders, the alien with them, stepped forward, glowing brighter. Blue against red. The creature in the hall hissed. Then it charged. Raya grabbed May and dove behind the nearest door. Malik and Len followed, just as the hallway exploded with energy. Red light tore through the walls, melting metal. The blue alien stood firm, arms out, blocking the blast. It screamed not in sound, but in pure light. Every part of its body shook. Its form broke and shifted as if it was splitting apart. Then the hallway collapsed. Dust and fire filled the shaft. Red Shard was gone, and so was their guide. Raya coughed, pulling herself to her feet. "Everyone okay?" Malik helped May up, still breathing. Len pointed to the mess. "The alien. It stopped that thing. It sacrificed itself." Raya looked. At the broken hull, something glowed faintly in the wreckage. A shard of blue crystal, small and pulsing. She picked it up. The light inside it flickered. "Still alive, let's move," she said. They reached engineering in silence. The main control room was dark, but still intact. Raya placed the blue shard. On the console, May immediately opened her case and connected a pulse reader to the core controls. "Can we fire it up?" Raya asked. Malik nodded. With enough time, Len glanced nervously at the door. "I don't think we have much of that." May worked fast. "I'm loading the human signal again, the emotions, the confusion, the chaos. But this time, I want to add something." "What?" Raya asked. "Music?" Raya blinked. "Music." May smiled faintly. "They don't understand it. They don't know why we sing, why we play sounds that don't mean anything. It makes no sense to them." Malik grinned. "Perfect." Raya nodded. "Do it." May loaded a collection of songs, everything from lullabies to war drums. Voices, choirs, violins, heartbeats turned into rhythm. Then she linked it with the pulse from earlier, creating a new signal. "Ready?" she said. "Outside." The floor began to shake again. Heavy tests. Raya looked at the door. "They're here." She looked at the blue shard one more time, then pressed the button. The signal launched. A silent wave of sound, light, and chaos shot through every wall, every deck, every wire of the station, and out into space. Then the lights returned, not red, but blue. Dozens of creatures across the station froze. Some screamed in pure light. Others dropped their weapons. Some simply stopped moving, confused. Broken. It was working. They weren't just hearing it, they were feeling it. And that changed everything. Asterisk, the hum of the signal filled every hallway. Soft at first, like a heartbeat buried under walls of steel. Then louder, carrying human voices, melodies, laughter, and tears. It poured through the station like a flood of emotion. Commander Reyes stood in engineering, eyes fixed on the monitor. "What's the response?" she asked. May checked the readings. "We're seeing energy surges across all decks. The shard aren't moving in sync anymore. They're slowing down." Confused. Len leaned against the wall, out of breath. "It's like we short-circuited their hive mind." "Not short," Malik said. "We gave it a feeling it can't process." On the screen, a hallway camera flickered back to life. It showed one of the tall crystal invaders standing still. Its glowing limbs twitched, shaking like it couldn't decide what to do. Around it, others wandered, bumping into walls, looking lost. And then one of them began to hum. It was off-key, broken, but it was copying the music. They were repeating. It May whispered, trying to understand. Suddenly, an alert popped up on the console, red flashing letters. "Core overload detected." Malik jumped up. "Wait, no, that's not from us. It's coming from Reactor 2. That's in Ring C," Len said. "That's where most of the remaining shard broke through." Raya's eyes narrowed. "They're trying to destroy the station. If they can't control it, they'll take it down," Malik muttered. "Can we stop it?" she asked. He scanned the controls. "Maybe, but we need to shut down Reactor 2 manually. The control lines are cut." Raya turned. "To the others, I'll go." "I'm going with you," Malik said. "No," she said firmly. "You stay and keep this pulse going. If it stops now, all of this is for nothing." Len stepped forward. "I'll go with you. I know the backup routes." Raya nodded. "Let's move." It took the service ladder out of engineering and dropped into the lower tunnels. The walls buzzed faintly with music. Soft rhythms bounced off the pipes. It didn't feel like a station anymore. It felt alive, confused, dreaming. As they reached the maintenance hallway near Reactor 2, the heat increased. Something was wrong. Smoke hissed from the vents. Sparks flickered from broken conduits. They reached the final door. Behind its Reactor 2, Len pulled out his emergency tablet. Pressure is already rising. We have 7 minutes before the core melts down. They opened the door. The room was wrecked. The reactor pulsed red, energy leaking from the base. And next to it, 3 shard warriors, broken in shape but still glowing, stood guard. Their forms twitched, trying to stay whole. Raya raised her sidearm. "Cover me." She sprinted toward the manual shutoff valve on the far wall. One of the shard turned sharply, limbs snapping into blades. Len fired once, twice. The shots didn't stop the creature, but they slowed it. It staggered, as if unsure whether to attack or listen. Raya reached the valve and twisted it hard. The reactor groaned. Steam exploded from the floor. Lights flickered. Pressure dropped. The overload stopped. But one of the shard roared, if the sound could be called. The Tand leaped toward her. Raya braced herself. Then something strange happened. The blue crystal shard she still carried in her pocket lit up. The attacking shard paused in midair, its body twitching. The blue light grew brighter, wrapping around both of them. And the alien backed away, its blades retracted. The creature looked at Rayon for a second. She saw something in its glowing face. Recognition. Then it turned and walked away, disappearing into the smoke. Raya slowly stood. Let's get back. Back. In engineering, Malik and May were watching the monitors. Some shard were retreating now. Others sat still, rocking slightly. A few were mimicking human speech poorly, but trying. "It's working," May said, "but the network is unstable. They're not one anymore. Some are breaking free, but others are panicking." "What happens now?" Malik asked. Before she could answer, the screen flashed again. Multiple ships inbound. Len and Raya returned, just in time to see it outside the station. The stars shimmered. More shard ships had arrived. Dozens. Hundreds. But they weren't moving in formation. They were scattering. Some heading toward Helios. Some turning away. Raya stared. Not one fleet anymore. May's eyes widened. "What? We didn't just split the group on the station. We broke the whole hive." And then the screen changed again. One of the shard ships was sending a signal. It wasn't in pulses. It was in words. "You showed us something we never had. But not all of us want it. Be ready." The message ended. Raya looked at her crew. The war wasn't over. But something had changed. They had given the enemy a new way to think. And that was more dangerous and powerful than any weapon ever built. The lights on Station Helios flickered, then steadied. Not red, not blue, just normal light. White, clean, calm. For a few moments, everything was still. Commander Raya Cole stood in engineering with her crew. May's hands rested on the console, her face pale with exhaustion. Malik sat on the floor, legs stretched, eyes closed. Len leaned on the wall, staring at the blinking monitor in disbelief. The shard ships outside no longer moved as one. Some drifted apart, changing color: blue, green, even violet. Others pulsed red, the angry ones still loyal to the old way. "They're scattering," May said quietly. "Some are running. Some are watching. Some are deciding." "They've never had to decide before," Raya said. Another alert beeped on the console. This time, it was a hailing signal. One of the shard ships was calling. Raya walked to the monitor. The screen flickered. Then a face appeared, not human, but close. A shimmering shape of crystalline light, not solid, not whole, but trying. "Commander Cole," the voice said. It was slow, broken, like a child learning to speak. "We are not one." "Not anymore?" Raya nodded. "We see that. You gave us noise, pain, thought." The voice continued. "Some of us want it, others fear it. They seek to silence us forever. Will they attack again? Rhea asked. Some will, the voice answered, but others will not. A choice has been born. It cannot be undone. What about Station Helios? She asked. Will you leave us in peace? The shard tilted. Its head, the light in its body shifted gently. You woke us. You heard us. You freed us. We owe you nothing. But some of us feel something new. Respect. The screen blinked off. No goodbye. No warning. Just silence. Outside, the shard ships began to leave. Not as a fleet. As individuals. Some went dark and drifted into space. Some turned toward nearby stars. A few stayed behind, keeping their distance watching, curious. The bridge Len finally spoke. So, did we win? Rhea let out a breath. I don't know. But we survived, and we gave them something they didn't have before. Malik stood up. That might be worse than a weapon. Or better, May added. Will they come? Back, Len asked. Rhea looked out the window. Earth was still far away, just a tiny in the black sky. They might. But next time they won't come as one mind. They'll come as many. And that gives us a chance. Suddenly, a soft tone came from the comms. Another signal. This one was from Earth. A message from Admiral Hanley, the head of Earth Defense. Station Helios, this is command. We've received your transmission. All of it. The pulse, the data, the recordings. We saw what you did. The Admiral's voice paused, then continued steady. Hail them back. You turned their strength into weakness. We are regrouping. Reinforcements are coming. Earth stands because of you. Rhea smiled just a little. Nice to be noticed. We need you to return, the Admiral said. Bring your crew. Bring that signal. I need to understand what you built, what you learned. Malik grinned. So now we're famous? Len chuckled. I just want a hot shower and a sandwich. Rhea nodded, set course for home. May looked at the crystal shard still pulsing gently on the table. And what about this? Rhea picked it up. The light inside it beat like a soft, steady heart. We keep it safe. It's a piece of what they were and what they could be. She slid it into a storage case and locked it. The crew gathered. Around the console, Len started powering up navigation. Malik checked the engines. May watched the last shard ship disappear into the stars. The station creaked as systems came back online, slowly but surely. For the first time in days it felt warm. They had survived the impossible. Not by force, not by fire, but by thinking differently, by being human. Station Helios turned toward Earth. Rhea looked out at the black sea of stars one more time. The enemy wasn't gone, but neither were they. And this time, the galaxy knew what humans could do. Even in the coldest dark, humanity burned with a light that couldn't be silenced.